Alright guys, welcome back to another one. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at all of the interesting tidbits that came out of the recent Tetsuya Nomura Young Jump interview. Now, if you haven't seen the most important takeaway from the interview, be sure to check out the video that's in the description down below. We've got some cool pieces here that relate to both Kingdom Hearts 4 and Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. I want to say a big thank you to Ryuji from KH13 for the translation of this information. The first thing I want to talk about is Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. So throughout the interview, unfortunately, we didn't get any development updates on Missing Link or Kingdom Hearts 4, but perhaps we did get an implication that Missing Link is still set to release this year. The interviewer said, this year, Kingdom Hearts Missing Link is also scheduled for release on mobile devices. Do you have any concerns that by developing important stories for apps and portable game consoles, you will end up with more players who can't keep up with the story? Now, Nomura gives a pretty lengthy and interesting response to this, but the interesting thing here is that he doesn't actually correct the interviewer, mentioning that there's some kind of pushback or delay for Missing Link. Now, I wouldn't say this absolutely confirms that the game is still scheduled for 2024. It could be that Nomura can't actually speak about the current scheduling of the game itself until everything is set in stone. And I can't imagine news like this being revealed for the first time via an interview within a manga magazine. I believe that if Missing Link is still set to come out this year, we should hear about it sometime this month. But his response to this question was, honestly, I do. That's why we're developing a story that takes place in a time frame that's much earlier than the Kingdom Hearts timeline on consoles. This refers to how the story of Missing Link is set in the past of the Kingdom Hearts timeline within the same era as the Kingdom Hearts Key Saga. However, as people say, the newly announced Kingdom Hearts 4 is really more like Kingdom Hearts 13. And yeah, like if you count all the Kingdom Hearts games, then technically this would be the 13th installment, which is a funny thing to think about just considering that Kingdom Hearts 4 is using a lot of those long lost ideas that Nomura once had for Final Fantasy Versus 13. However, this time both Kingdom Hearts Missing Link and 4 have been created with a stronger focus on being new titles rather than sequels. Nomura is bringing in new writers for both Missing Link and Kingdom Hearts 4. After all, Missing Link is better described as a blank history, so it is also based on the premise that there are things missing. If you know about it, you can enjoy it more deeply. Connecting into this answer and the previous question, the interviewer then asked, Kingdom Hearts is a series that does have many titles. What are your thoughts in regards to new fans wanting to try out the series? That's what I'd like to know. As I mentioned earlier, I'm thinking of Missing Link and Kingdom Hearts 4 as a kind of reset. I felt like I had finished with Kingdom Hearts 3 and wanted to start again, so I brought in new writers and even changed the logo to make it easier for new people to get involved. So it's pretty clear here that for Missing Link in KH4, Nomura is wanting to make it easily accessible for people that don't have much experience with Kingdom Hearts. This was something they tried to do with Kingdom Hearts 3, but I still feel like for someone that didn't have any prior experience with the Kingdom Hearts series, that jumping into what is the conclusion of a story that had been running for almost 20 years, to get a good grasp on exactly what's transpiring throughout that game may have come across as a little bit confusing. I think really the only Kingdom Hearts games that you could jump into without any prior knowledge of Kingdom Hearts, where it's not going to be overwhelmingly confusing, would be either Birth by Sleep or Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. These games obviously still have connections to other Kingdom Hearts titles, but their stories are very much self-contained. This is the opportunity that a game presents itself with Missing Link, being that the story is set into the past, and looking at Kingdom Hearts 4, it is a clean slate now that we're moving into a brand new saga. While yes, you probably will get more kicks out of the upcoming story of Kingdom Hearts 4 having played the entire previous saga, as this is essentially Kingdom Hearts 1 for a brand new arc, a great jumping in point for people that are new to Kingdom Hearts. And sure, if they want to learn a bit more about why Sora is in the position he's in, then they can jump into those previous titles. I still feel though that there should be some type of understanding of what happened in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross for any newcomer coming into Kingdom Hearts with KH4. As there's going to be many connections from UX connected through into KH4 and forward. I'm absolutely certain though that with the importance of these Union Cross characters that are now appearing in present Kingdom Hearts, that there's going to be some type of explanation that will be made readily available for newcomers. The best case scenario is that Square Enix actually remake Union Cross now that it has been completely removed from all app stores. And because this is a reset or a clean slate, it also provides Tetsuya Nomura to make a more cohesive story experience now that he knows exactly how many games he needs to create and where certain story points need to fall into place in order to get to the end point of this saga, and from what we've recently found out, the end of the series. New writers for Missing Link and KH4 is also quite exciting too, as it can provide some new interesting twists in the way that Kingdom Hearts does its storytelling. We already know that for Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, Final Fantasy XIV Heaven Sword scenario writer Ryuko Fukuzawa is going to be writing the story of Missing Link. Nomura is going to be overseeing this, but it is going to be mainly helmed by him. And for Kingdom Hearts 4, we have 3 writers: Tetsuya Nomura, Masura Oka, who has been the scenario writer for most of the Kingdom Hearts games, and Akiko Ishibashi, the scenario writer of Neo Twewi. This could mean that we're in for possibly a very different feeling Kingdom Hearts story looking at Kingdom Hearts 4 and this next coming saga. While in the past, Nomura did confirm that the change of style when looking at KH4's logo is to represent that a brand new saga has begun, he's also mentioned here that part of the reason to change it was to make it easier for new people to jump in. Adding on to this, the interviewer said, so that's what the change of logo was about. If you remember how the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 goes, you'll understand that Sora ends up like that because he's resetting the story in a way, so Kingdom Hearts 4 should be easier to get into than before. I think that if you like the series, you'll feel like this is it, but I'm also hoping that as many new players as possible will play it. This really does seem to be a focus of both Square Enix and Tetsuya Nomura's, trying to make it easy and not overwhelming for new people to jump in. And it's definitely apparent that over the past few years, Square Enix have really tried to make it as easy as humanly possible for people that are new to Kingdom Hearts to jump in, with the HD remixes and also bringing Kingdom Hearts to multiple different platforms. It's pretty insane to think that you can play Kingdom Hearts on quite literally every single platform now, even if the Nintendo Switch version is cursed. Next up, at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts, there is a monologue that goes, "I've been having these weird thoughts lately, like, is any of this for real or not? What does that mean?" The name Quadratum didn't exist at that time, but the idea was there. It was a long preparation for the day when I would reach this point. This is probably the coolest piece of information I think we've received for Kingdom Hearts 4 from Nomura so far. God, there's so many theories when looking at that first piece of monologue, the very first line that we hear Sora speak in the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1. It is a famous line, and to know that there is some deeper meaning to that line is so exciting. I mean, I guess it was kind of confirmed to us that there was a deeper meaning to the line when we heard Yozora say the exact same line at the end of the secret episode for Kingdom Hearts 3. And it is Tetsuya Nomura crazy to know that at least the basic concept of what is going to happen here in Kingdom Hearts 4 with Sora being in this unreality type world was an idea from the very beginning of Kingdom Hearts. And now after 2 decades, this is starting to be executed. We're at the most curious point of the Kingdom Hearts story, which I didn't think was possible after the conclusion of Kingdom Hearts 3. And it makes you think, like, how does this all tie in with that initial first monologue that Sora speaks? With everything that's going on with the Master of Masters, and now there's that theory that potentially the Master of Masters is Sora, but then we've also got the Yozora stuff going on with his own reality, and he's somehow connected to Sora as well. Yozora doesn't actually look like this, and what do you mean by you're using Sora's name? Are we some kind of fake version of the actual real true Sora? Is everything we've experienced so far just some kind of simulation? But how would that work? There's already simulation data worlds that exist within the world, so is there this whole thing of a matrix within a matrix? Yozora also speaks the same lines as Sora. Is Yozora the true Sora? There are so many questions. Though this is typical Kingdom Hearts fashion, I would say that the questions we currently have unanswered are the most interesting we've had so far. And because the story can literally diverge into several different directions with all the possible outcomes here, I've got zero idea how Nomura intends for this series to wrap up as a whole, and how everything's going to connect to that very first line that Sora speaks at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1. Nomura was also questioned about how he keeps up with all of the different foreshadowing elements that appear throughout the series. There's a lot of lore here, so how exactly does he keep track? He did mention here that he writes a lot in his notes, but he also watches playthrough videos of Kingdom Hearts and reviews of it on YouTube. So the breakdown videos and just general videos of people talking and reviewing the Kingdom Hearts series are pieces of content that he actually personally indulges in. It's kind of wholesome to know that some of the Kingdom Hearts content creators have actually assisted with the development of Kingdom Hearts. And finally, Nomura was asked about what his intention was upon bringing a realistic setting into the world of Kingdom Hearts. He mentions that worldviews that are slightly different from actual reality are the ones he prefers, rather than complete fantasy. So for Quadratum, he feels like he's dreaming in actual settings and locations that are based in Shibuya, but not the real Shibuya. This is quite the interesting takeaway. So we do know that we're basically in Tokyo Shibuya within Kingdom Hearts 4, but it will be interesting to see how he puts like a Nomura twist on some of these very famous locations. I mean, he is aware, and it's mentioned here in this interview, that a lot of games in recent years have featured Tokyo, but more specifically Shibuya, as the location for the game. So I'm hoping that he makes his rendition of Tokyo Shibuya and the different locations that will be featured in Quadratum stand out in amongst the sea of games that feature Tokyo as its play space. Rather than complete fantasy, I think that unrealistic within reality fits the fantasy view well. We've known for many years that this is Nomura's ideal fantasy, a fantasy that is set within reality. This was the slogan for Final Fantasy Versus 13, and it's yet another sort of relation to that of Versus 13 to that of Kingdom Hearts 4, him finally executing this idea of the fantasy based on reality. It's just that he has no other choice but to execute it within the world of Kingdom Hearts. But thinking about how this grand idea of Nomura's that he's held on to for so many years has been put into Kingdom Hearts, a game that primarily takes place in cartoony, colorful Disney worlds, and now suddenly we're in Tokyo, Japan? It's just completely insane, but I f***ing love it. So that's all the interesting stuff that came out of the Young Jump interview. I mean, it's nothing crazy, nothing major, but at this point, because of the current drought we are enduring, anything, and I mean literally anything, is much appreciated. I think that's probably the most we're gonna hear about Kingdom Hearts 4 for 2024. Pretty unfortunate, as I went into this year expecting that by September we should know quite a bit more about the game. My nuts are crisscrossed for 2025. Hopefully being the big blowout year where we finally get a re-reveal of Kingdom Hearts 4. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to keep up with everything going on here. Check out my other social media platforms. They're complete garbage, but if you got time, check them out. Big thank you to my turkey-tastic patrons. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll talk real soon.